Hello guys, this is Adam, and in front of you is the one and only the MacBook Neo, the base model, and this is the long-term review after I have used it for about a month right now on a daily basis, and I have tested every single software that you can think of. Talking Blender, we have tested it. If we're talking Photoshop, we have tested it. If we're talking After Effects, we have tested it. If we're talking Clip Studio Paint, which is the one that you are seeing right here, we have tested it as well. And if you are talking about Grace Pencil and the ability to use a Grace Pencil for a Blender on the Mac, it actually worked and it was really nice, and you can check the video for it. And this image that you are looking at right now, that was actually made through the Grace Pencil on a Blender as well. Overall, the machine was really great in terms of creating 3D art, modeling, and animation as well. In terms of 2D animation, not a 3D animation, we will get into that, and I will get into my thoughts about the workflow in a general sense. There is only one software that I have not tested, and that is Unreal Engine 5 on the MacBook Neo, and I will be testing that soon. I know I have said that I will do it in the past, but I didn't get the chance to do so. However, I will be doing that very soon. And honestly, the reason for not testing Unreal Engine on the MacBook Neo, just because to get it to work on a Mac is really annoying. You need to install Xcode, and Xcode needs your account, and I really do not want to bring my developer account and then put it on this machine. So that's the only software that I didn't test. Other than that, any other software I have tested, and there is actually a playlist for over 10 videos just testing the MacBook Neo. I even tested ZBrush and Maya as well, and also with Arnold using Maya. So everything that you can think of we have tested, and I have a lot of thoughts to share about that. With that being said, what do I think of the MacBook Neo? The MacBook Neo overall actually surprised me. My first encounter with it was with a Blender. So let's go ahead, we'll open this project for a Blender with the Grace Pencil. As you can, we have a swap memory at 400 megabytes, and then we have memory used about 6 gigabytes. Now, as you know, MacBook Neo only comes with 8 gigabyte of RAM, or shared memory as Apple like to call it. The base model comes with 256 gigabyte of storage, or the 512. I do recommend going with the 512 gigabyte version and use your student discount if that's something available to you to get it on the cheap. Since we have only 8 gigabyte of physical memory, as you can see right here, a Blender right now with the system and everything, we are using about 6 gigabytes, so 5.8, and then what is cached into the machine for emergencies or software that is just set aside, that is about 1.8 gigabytes. And then the swap memory is basically your machine using the hard drive that is inside to use the SSD that is inside the machine, basically the storage, to use it as memory. So let's say you are working on a project and it took more than 8 gigabytes and then you need more, your hard drive, the hard drive that is inside the machine, will act as physical memory, and then it will come in to help. Used, or basically the swap memory, which is your hard drive, is using about 400 megabytes, which is roughly half gigabyte. Now let's go ahead and play this animation, and as you can see, the animation is playing without any delay and without any issues. Here is a fun fact. When I first did that test around 4 years ago or 5 years ago with the M1 MacBook Air, keep in mind the M1 MacBook Air had 1 terabyte of storage, so much more storage than this machine, and also it had 16 gigabytes of memory, or shared memory, or physical memory, or RAM, which is double what the MacBook Neo has. And when I did play this for the first time, it was choppy. And by the way, I am playing it here for the first time. This is not like a pre-rendered and I am playing it right now. I just opened it in real time in front of you, and as you can see, the animation is playing, and this animation is actually using Grace Pencil right here, and it's a Grace Pencil demo, and it's by an artist named Andre. I'm gonna render one image, one frame, and see how quickly it would go. Bam! Less than 1 second, so 0.96, less than 1 second for it to render a frame. Now I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna open this pirate animation right here, and I'm just gonna simply play it. As you can see, it's playing in real time. Stop humming that song. Stop humming that song. Really cool. One frame as well, and I want you to see. Okay, one frame is already done. It took 1 second for it to render one frame. I'm not gonna close Blender. I'm gonna have a Blender play this in the background, and I'm gonna go ahead and open Clip Studio Paint. So basically, I will have two softwares open at the same time. I know it's crazy. Usually you do not do that, especially when you only have 8 gigabytes of RAM, but I want to show you how powerful this machine is. And Clip Studio Paint, for the canvas that we will be working with, this canvas is a 4K canvas. I can zoom out, I can zoom in without any issues, and it's open through a Clip Studio Paint without any issues. Now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open my file right here, and I'm gonna hide the shirt. I can hide the shirt, I can zoom out, I can zoom in, no issues. Now I'm gonna bring the shirt back. I'm gonna put the pieces of clothing and then hide the shirt again. Now I have those two pieces of clothing inside this folder right here. I'm gonna hide one. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna hide the other one. Keep in mind, Blender playing in the back in real time, doing whatever it needs to do. And then I am working on this. I'm gonna minimize that and then go and hide my render. And then I'm gonna hide my render copy, which is basically for the neck. That's why this needs to be renamed. So since I want to rename that, so let's say this is render, and then let's just say neck. So this is render neck. I can hit space, move across my canvas, and I am doing what I need to do. And by the way, not only this is 4K, this is actually 300 dpi as well. And as you know, 300 dpi, that means this is print ready, and this is the highest pixel density that you can get in terms of 2D art. And the people who are doing 2D art, their jaw probably would drop when they know this is like 300 dpi, and then you are working. Again, I am doing my animation here in the back is running, and then I am using Clip Studio Paint here. Now let's do something crazier. I'm gonna close Blender, bring this animation right here. Again, Clip Studio Paint is open. And then here, when I had the two softwares open, it did not go to red. It was still in the green, and it was just fine. Before I have it rendered, I'm gonna go to Edit, to Preferences, make sure that I am on the GPU, and then I'm gonna have it render not one frame, I'm gonna have it render the whole animation. Now I'm gonna render one frame just for the fun of it. One frame took 0.88 seconds using Eevee, which is insane. Now I'm gonna have it render the whole animation. You are rendering a whole animation in the background. And then I'm gonna go to activity monitor. The cached is about 1 gigabyte, memory used is about 6, and then the swap jumped to 500. Gonna go back to Clip Studio Paint, and then with Clip Studio Paint, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, and I can move my canvas just fine. Now, there is definitely a slight delay because I am rendering and such, but you can do it if you want to. Now, do I recommend that? I do not recommend it, and that is definitely not realistic. However, that is something that you can do. If you want to see this project rendering in real time without any interruptions and how long it would take, there is a video in the playlist for you, which that playlist has everything that was tested for the MacBook Neo. I will leave it below the like button and then the subscribe button. Please click them both, especially the subscribe button. It would help me greatly, and I would leave the link for you in the description as well if you want to go over there and say hi or ask me any questions or whatever that might be. Now let's go to the big boys. Let's go to Photoshop, and keep in mind we are only working with 8 gigabytes. So this is Photoshop. I can zoom in and I can zoom out without any issues. I do have my history right here, and then I do have my channels right here, and then my layers right here. Now we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna hide the shirt, works just fine, and then I'm gonna go to the clothing file and then click on it, the left and then the right. That is working without any issues. And then I can bring the shirt back, and then I can hide both of these. That's no problem. Click here and then do render for the neck, then hide the render. Now I have this, which is working. By the way, I like it without the render mode. I don't know, you tell me. Then the highlights, I can bring them off. Then I can hide the background as well, or I can bring it. And then the lines, I can hide them. It would be atrocious, but hey, that's something that you can do. And then here I have a line copy if I want to do double lining. Let's hide that line. So now we have light lining. Now we have the double lining. And all of that is working without any issues. And this is Photoshop. Now let's go to the activity monitor. And again, remember, this canvas is 4K. So a lot of people say, oh, if you open a 4K canvas, you cannot run it wherever. It was working just fine. And you can see that the memory was in the green. Now I will say this, Photoshop definitely takes more than Clip Studio Paint. So if you are a Clip Studio Paint user, you will definitely be getting, let's say, more value for your money, because Clip Studio Paint is simply doing much better in comparison to Photoshop. However, both softwares are working without any issues and you can create art with them with no issues. And if you want an in-depth Photoshop breakdown, there is that. So these are basically the softwares that most people are using, and I just showed you how great that they are working. But me doing that, I just wanted to give you an idea that, hey, the MacBook Neo is no slouch if you are doing anything that is 2D or 3D related. I will get into specifics a little bit here. If you are doing 2D animations using Clip Studio Paint, this machine for you. You will not have any issues. If you are doing animations using Maya, this machine is not for you. You need to go with the MacBook Air and upward. If you are doing modeling or hard surface modeling using Maya, this machine is for you. You will not have an issue with that. As long as you manage your, not necessarily your expectations, but you manage your memory management, and then you do a lot of command one where you are isolating the object that you are working on, you wouldn't have any issues. If you are using a Blender with a Grace pencil for animations or modeling or sculpting or whatever that might be, you would not have any issues. In terms of the machine itself, it does have two ports. So there is a port here up top, which is the more powerful port that you should connect any external hard drives or any external displays or any external docks to. And this dock right here, this is actually from Wavelink and through a Thunderbolt 5 cable, which the MacBook Neo does not have a Thunderbolt 5, but a Thunderbolt 5 cable that comes with the Wavelink. I have it connected right here, and it's actually charging the Mac, and while charging the Mac, it's actually running two external hard drives. So it's running a Lumix camera SD card right here, and that is a 256 gigabyte SD card, and it's running that through this docking station right here. And then I have Atom drive, which is basically my main drive, and that is a 512 gigabyte drive, and it's running that in real time as well. So anything that I want in terms of recording software, whatever that might be, I would basically have it on that. And I will be honest, I actually do have Photoshop installed on that. So if we come here, I have this file right here, which is basically Adobe apps, and I have both Photoshop and After Effects installed right here because I do not have enough space to install them on the machine itself. That is one of the problems that you have to deal with if you get the base model with 256 gigabyte of storage. You will not have enough storage to get all your software in order to install them without any issues, and you have to pick and choose. That's why I had ZBrush removed, because I wanted to install Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine really wants a lot of space, which means I have to delete a lot of stuff. So it's like a balancing act between what do you want to be installed, what not. And then I ended up at the very end just deciding, okay, I'm gonna install some stuff on my external hard drive and just work it from there. And that did not cause me any issues, and you saw how Photoshop was performing even though it was running externally, and it was actually running it through this dock right here, which is a Thunderbolt 5 dock from Wavelink. And if you want to know more about it, there is definitely a link for it in the description, where I made a video about, actually two videos, one with the M1 Max MacBook Pro, and then the other one with the MacBook Neo. I'm not talking like as this is sponsored or anything. No, I'm just genuinely thinking this is a really good dock and it would work really well with your MacBook Neo. And basically the way that I have it set up, it's always here, and as soon as I come back home, it's one cable, which is the Thunderbolt 5 cable, and I will just connect it to my MacBook Neo, and then I would be good to go. And that is one thing that you can actually work with the MacBook Neo, which is you can take it, do your work, and bring it, and it will still give you the same performance. And then just through one cable, you would plug it to a docking station. It would connect to an external monitor and then connect to your all other peripherals, which in my case, it is the Wacom 2017 version, the Wacom Intuos Pro medium size. And then it's connected through the dock, and sometimes I connect it through the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth for that case. But I do not like a Bluetooth. I like it to be connected directly. Even if you are using After Effects, I have actually used After Effects on it, and I did have a full video of me using After Effects on this machine, and it was very surprising. I know I am glazing and giving a lot of positives about the MacBook Neo, but honestly that is the case. I do not have a lot of stuff that are negative to say, if any, and I do not like to give negative reviews for the sake of being negative. That's not how I work. If I like something, I'm gonna say I like it. If I do not like something, I'm gonna say I do not like it. In a general sense, like what it offers, and for the price that it offers it at, there is no other machine that would be offering you the same thing.